This episode of the Community Workbench podcast is brought to you by yours truly, Matt Norn of Remax Bell Park. For all of your real estate needs, commercial, residential, rentals, give me a call, 860-428-6534. Your dreams are my job. Welcome to the Community Workbench. I'm Matt Norn. This is Kyle Morrissey. We are the hosts of the number one podcast in my basement. At the bench, we try to repair the sense of community. So every week we bring you small businesses, entrepreneurs, community leaders, charities, and pretty much whoever we feel like talking to. And this week we have the distinct honor of talking to Amy Fahmah, owner of CrossFit Underdog Union, located at 146 Main Street, Danielson, Connecticut, 06239. Hi, Amy.
Hi, Matt. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good. I like how you pronounce my name.
I did?
Yeah, I like
I
it.
got it. All right. So I tell a lot of people, I promise I will misspeak before you. Some people that get nervous
I don't know.
about
Challenge
talking.
accepted.
Let me just adjust this a little bit for you.
Okay, thanks.
There we go.
Kind of knew that was going to happen.
That's okay. Nope. So you run the gym on Main Street, essentially.
Yeah.
Tell us what ever made you think, let's go into business for myself.
Go big or go home, I
Yeah.
guess. Let's put it all on the line and put my family's livelihood at stake and just go for it. You know why? Because it would have been worse to not try.
Yeah.
It would have been
Okay.
way worse to not try.
Nice.
Failure would have, you never know what's going to happen, but it was worth the risk, and I'm glad I did it.
Nice. What's
Yeah.
your educational background?
So I was educational background, high school, did not finish college.
Okay.
I
Well, at least you
was
tried. I didn't even try.
You didn't try? I mean community college. I didn't finish. Does that even count? I don't know. But so that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time
It's an
ago.
attempt.
Yeah, yeah. And then, I worked at a job I didn't like for a lot of years, and I ended up finding fitness by accident, just as a parent, a young mother needing an outlet of some sort.
Hmm.
So I did, some running, some triathlon, and about 2014, little small triathlons at the time. 2014, I remember seeing gyms, people going up, running up and down the road, doing this thing called CrossFit, and I was like, "What is this?" I'd love to do that one day. And it took a while, but I did eventually. Well, in 2014, I decided to just go for it, and I did, and that was where my journey began, and continued through the years. And I've just immersed myself in all things personal training, anatomy, physiology,
Oh, wow.
special needs, adaptive inclusive training, all sorts of things because I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. I love it, and I love working with people. So it was just kind of a no brainer.
It's funny how education works that way. Once you find something you're interested, you can't get enough of the education, even though you could have been
Yeah.
like me in certain classes. You're like, oh, we got to learn this. Like, wow.
I did not like high school. I did
Okay.
not like. I graduated high school in 1995, barely, and I mean it's kind of funny, only because now all these years later. But I skipped so many gym classes in high school that I had to take. I had to take gym class almost every day for my senior year with the freshmen in order to graduate because I
Wow.
hated it.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow. That's funny
crazy.
how
I
that
know.
turned.
Full circle. Full circle. Look at me now. So, I got off topic on that. Sorry,
That's
a
all
little
right.
memory.
So, like 2014,
Yeah.
you started.
Mhm.
Did you start? You started in your garage? Is that
I
right?
started going to another gym in Massachusetts and just
Oh,
taking some
okay.
classes and
Yeah.
just seeing what it was all about. And I was moving in ways that I had never moved before. And I did not know that I could even do some of these things.
Oh, nice.
But it was a great outlet,
Yeah.
for a young mother who just needed
Yeah.
that stress relief.
Yeah. And teaching you good form, all that, like the proper way to lift the weights and stuff like that.
I didn't know any different. So there's
Okay.
that.
So that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess I didn't have those bad habits, but the gym I first went to 2014, 15 didn't work out for me. Took a little bit of time off. Did it by going to CrossFit.com, watching those
Oh,
workouts,
okay. Yeah.
and then did get back into it and found a gym that I really loved and had other people to support me, and
Mhm.
I never left after that, and that was about 2016 or 17.
Yeah, that's one thing I saw about CrossFit, like nationally. One reason why they have such a big following is because they created a culture where you're in the gym with friends. So
Hmm.
that's why they have so many people will subscribe to it because they're going where it's like family orientated, or it's, it's like you got buddies that are you going there, because most people that go to the gym all alone, they're
Hmm.
either really into it or it's usually short lived,
Yeah.
because they're alone,
There's a huge community aspect,
Right.
and I wanted that to be even more pronounced in my gym,
Sure.
because ultimately there's you can be motivated for a certain amount of time, but to be disciplined or to even just know that you've got somebody there that's like, hey, where have you been?
Mm.
Um, it just changes everything, and it's also a great outlet. There's been more awareness too for mental health things. I try to
Yeah.
bring that into the gym as well. Like it's a safe space for people who are, not having their best day, but come in, you're going to feel better after.
Right.
There's no
Yeah.
question about it.
Yeah.
And we're not competing against each other. We're competing against ourselves and celebrating
Mm-hmm.
everybody for their own, um, PRs and their own wins, internal,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I don't care what
progress.
Kyle tells you. That's how we play golf. I play against myself.
That's a
He's
lie because I'm a golfer
he's
too.
he's just there for good
Sorry, I
company.
should.
More for the
No,
show
nobody.
than anything,
I
actually.
was going to say nobody's really likes golf for 18 holes. There's no way.
Oh, I love it. You could do more than 18.
Yeah, you
You're
should
gonna
try the
do
36 hole day.
no. That sounds awful. We just did a golf tournament. You know what? I will say this one thing. I've noticed in the past year, this season of golf, my husband was a competitive golfer, all that stuff. So I've
Oh
always
wow.
golfed with him. And I've noticed this year that my drive is way longer than it ever has been. So I've got to attribute that to CrossFit, right?
Sure.
But man, when you hit it far and you just look at it and you're like, oh, I could do this every time. It
Yeah.
doesn't work that way. And then you have a short game to deal with, which is a mess for me.
Yeah.
Putting green is bad.
Yeah, it's always there's so many factors, there's so many things to like think about when you're golfing, so many different things. And the best thing I've found is to not think about it.
Yeah.
That's like the
Well, it's
best
not different
best
from
hits I
CrossFit
have.
that way.
Yeah.
And my members tell me that all the time because it's like, okay, ready? Heels down, hinge back, chest up, drive your
Yeah.
with your legs. And
Wow.
so they're like, wait, what do I gotta do? So there's a mental challenge that goes along with
For sure.
CrossFit, and
Yeah.
it's gets your brain and your body talking to each other. So it's cool.
Yeah, that, and it's when you keep saying outlet, like it does push out like all the other. You have to focus. You have that's the only thing you can focus on. Same
Yeah.
with like golf or any of those other like
Hmm.
if you're gonna at least compete or be super competitive, even if it's just with yourself,
Hmm.
it's like you have to kind of drown out the
Yeah.
rest of the world. Which
I've had people say that to me. It's the
yeah,
1 hour of their day. They don't have to think about anything else.
right.
Therapeutic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a big deal to shut your mind off of all
Hmm.
the other problems.
Yeah.
So
And then you are doing something that's really good for your physical and mental well being at the same time.
for sure,
So,
for sure.
a lot of benefits.
So 2014, 15, you're working out somewhere else. When did you decide, or what did you do before you did the gym
A little, I think, a little bit of running, not much. I had oh,
occupationally?
yes, yes, yes. Oh, we're going to go there.
You don't have to, I
I
guess.
know, it's okay. I worked a miserable job in insurance. I hated it. I hated my life with it. Yeah, I did it for a long time. But, again, didn't have a trade,
Yeah,
education, and I fell into that. Someone told me about this job that was open. Go apply, did, got it, and then you get stuck.
yeah.
And that's really what happens. And I moved around as much as I could in the company, and um,
Just
yeah,
wasn't your thing.
it wasn't my thing. But I had to do something, and that's what I did. And
Yeah.
yeah,
So then, when did you start your gym? And was it part time at first? I'm assuming probably part time.
are you talking about CrossFit Underdog Union, or are you talking about like working coaching?
So you
Yeah.
did coaching first?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that,
yeah.
oh, yeah,
So at
sure.
first I started personal training.
Okay.
So I'd have people come over my house. First it was like family friends. Then I got like some paying clients and a little bit of word of mouth. And I had some people that would come. We'd go work out in my detached garage. Then it was little small groups. So I do have a background in personal training. So I love the one-on-one.
Yeah.
I love to learn about people. I like to make connections and help people.
Right.
So
Sure.
personal training is perfect for that. And if you, I don't care who it is, if you want to work in a big group, you've got to do some one-on-one first if you really want to hone in your skills.
Yeah.
So I love that I did that first. And then, I just was at a different gym, started coaching there, couple gyms, and then it just kind of became like, hey, I can do this, I think.
Yeah.
I think I can. I
Yeah.
was totally, totally naive. 'Cause
That's the
I
best
can
way to
do
start a
this.
business is to not know all the downfalls.
My husband owns a business, so I felt like if I really fell into some trouble, he could help me, and he's been tremendously helpful.
Nice.
Tremendously, so much so that I even made him go get his L1, and he's coaching for me tonight while
Oh,
I'm
there
here.
you go.
So, Josh.
Does he have a business you want to plug? 'Cause that's
Brooks-
allowed.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Sure. Brookstone Wealth Management. He's out of Oxford, Massachusetts.
Wealth
Yeah, he's a
management.
CFP. Yeah, he's a certified financial planner.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a smart kid.
He did go to college and
He
finish.
did. He went to Assumption. He did.
Good
Yeah,
for
yeah.
What an overachiever.
Oh
Yeah.
man, nerd. Can I give a shout out to my boys too? Then?
Sure.
So I've got Jack, who is doing awesome. He's 21, and that's
Yep.
kind of mind blowing to have a 21-year-old.
Yep.
And he's doing solar right now, so he's finding his path that way.
Nice.
And then I've got Brady, who just graduated his freshman year at Marianopolis with a 3.9.
Wow,
Wow.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Another
That's
smart,
awesome.
smart kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That's cool. I like
Yeah,
how you
they're great
keep saying,
kids.
I like how you keep saying smart.
yeah, yeah.
Like your last name, Fahmah.
Right. Yeah. Yep. If you know, you know.
So when did you open up on Main Street?
So Main Street was March of 24.
Okay.
Yeah, and finding a place was like
Oh, yeah.
really hard.
Yeah.
Because people don't want a gym. It's not gonna last. You're gonna damage this or the noise or I don't even know what.
Wow. So there was like objections from different towns to a gym?
No, it was the
Like-
landlords.
Oh.
Yeah, and
okay.
finding the right space was tough. So just trying to get into a space was a challenge. And I live in Massachusetts,
Yeah.
right on the line of Thompson. So we were looking both.
In both directions,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Well,
And I like this area anyway. It's adorable,
Yeah.
cute area.
yeah.
So
I'm glad you found Danielson. That's cool. That's awesome.
it's a perfect spot. There's all this action on Main Street.
Yeah.
I got
yeah.
awesome neighbors all around.
Yeah, things are getting better every
Yeah.
week. You know, there's either new places moving in or places getting fixed up and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
they've got great. Shout out to the KBA. They're doing so much work, and they've got some great things coming down the pipeline.
yeah, Danielson, even the Killingly town, they do a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of potential, and they're crushing it. I think so.
And I love that about being part of because I knew at the time things were, Chubby Dog wasn't open, Little River, none of that was open. The Hot Pot wasn't open, so I knew it was up and coming.
Yeah,
And I really liked the fact that I was going to be like around these like kind of cool,
yeah,
fun. Everybody's going to want to come out and see this whole new area, and
yeah,
it's worked out that way.
yeah. Well, like Adam, we had on last week.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Chubby Dog. He's doing the summer small town summer music
Festival. Yeah, is he doing the summer?
Well,
or is he
it's
fall?
October 11th this year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he did it last year
So,
too. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what
Oh, there's
maybe it's
fun
not
over
summer.
there.
Maybe it's just small town music fest. That's probably what it is. Small town music fest. I probably got it wrong.
That's okay. He'll yell at you later, I'm
That'd
sure.
be
But it was great all winter because, like, if I had to get a coffee, I just went right out my back door and down the hall and right into their back door. And ordered my-
Yeah,
Oh, they're connected.
Yeah, so we have a back, like a common
That's
area
cool.
in the hallway.
yeah. They're fixing up. That's part of that grant, right? To fix up all the back sides of the Main Street places. So
Oh, I'm talking about we have a back hallway for the tenants, but behind that outside, yes.
right. So I guess maybe that wasn't. I thought they were fixing up all the back doors as well, or the back vestibules, as well as the brickyard that they're doing for
don't know.
everybody. But big.
That'd be nice.
There's big remodels going on essentially
Mm.
in your backyard, so that they can have parking, and like when you have a festival
Right.
or an event,
Yeah.
it can be that whole back area.
I did hear that actually. They
Yeah.
did give me that plan. So that's exciting because we could go outside and have like a little like CrossFit competition out there or
Right.
something.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Love to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like, I don't know. I guess Norwich did something similar, same type of grant, and yeah, then Danielson got the same type of grant where they they fix up facades, like building
Yeah.
facades,
Yeah.
and part of that was the town was able to purchase a certain section out there that gave us like this small building and then like all kinds of other parking as well.
That'd be
So
awesome.
now like that whole area back there is interconnected with
It
all
is.
the other businesses and stuff, and it stretches as far as like almost down to like Water Street and like over by Moon Magic and like
And then
all
even
that,
across the way too.
right.
There's
Yeah,
so much
like,
public parking. It's awesome.
yeah. So hopefully, yeah, you can do the street artists and vendors and food trucks and everything when you have an event and have them all in one big area. Because that's one thing is like it's really tough to shut down Route 12, which is our main street. It's a state route, so it's
A little
like,
different. Yeah.
it's much harder to shut it down and have a festival in the street.
Adam
where-
did something like that. Chubby Dog Adam did that last year with his music festival, and there were some. Was that the day there were some vendors? There was definitely vendors out there. That was-
Yeah.
yeah.
He
So
and he even said he's like it's cheap to be a vendor here because I just want a lot of them. So he's like I just want a lot of them and a lot of people.
I
to
mean,
see it.
hopefully they come because there's some
So,
cool vendors out
yeah.
there. Yeah.
He said this year might be a little bit more across the street where, Danielson Surplus, the bank, and behind that area because of the construction that'll be going on in your backyard, essentially. So
Yeah.
that's like a big deal like that.
Yeah, it sure
You
is.
have entrepreneurs that are trying to do more stuff like that, kind of independently, and he wants to make it an annual thing. He's got 10 really big bands coming this year. So.
Yeah. It's great to give people, and it's great to give people something to do,
Yeah.
right? Kind of, not say to keep them out of trouble, but,
To keep him out of trouble.
well, that, but some and great memories. Like I remember
Right,
earlier
yeah.
in the day, people were bringing their kids out, and it's just, you're going to look back on that in 20 years and be like, remember that? That was really cool. That was really fun. We used to go
Right.
behind there and they'd have, they'd be doing weightlifting outside, or they'd be, playing music, and
Yeah.
it's just
And
neat.
it can become an annual tradition with the family. Oh, we go there every year and we do that and we
Right.
we get a coffee or whatever. So
Yeah.
that's
We
kinda
do some
cool.
burpees.
Yeah. There you go.
We do some burpees and get a coffee. Don't have the coffee before you do the burpees.
Challenge accepted. No. So you get into this new spot down there. It's kind of new for you, right? Was it like, did you have a lot of people already coming to your house to the point where you were like outgrowing
No
your
one
space?
that I could bring with me.
No one that you could bring with you.
I
Oh, wow.
started this thing from the ground up.
Wow.
There was no, buying a gym and paying for an existing book of clients.
business,
It was
right.
all built from the ground. And, there's a lot that I've learned in the last year and a half from that. But I'm really glad that I did it that way, because now when I look in the gym, it's just so satisfying to see this culture that, and I can't take credit for all of it, obviously, but that we've created. I've got people who've been with me since day one, and man,
Nice.
their progress. I mean, one woman, Deb, she's amazing. She's 60 plus. She's gonna kill me. But
Shout
this
out to
woman, deadlifting her body weight, moving in ways like the aches and pains are gone.
them.
Just
Yeah.
it's just unbelievable. Working towards pull-ups, and we take things so slow.
Right.
And that really is the way CrossFit is supposed to be. So the people who came in on day one, no background in this, didn't go anywhere else. Maybe they went to Planet Fitness, but like, what do? Walk on the treadmill? Like, you don't go with a plan for the most part. So
Could be,
most
yeah.
people.
Yeah.
So, coming in and just sort of trusting the process, doing that charter that we follow, that I follow so strictly, which is your mechanics, your movement patterns first, consistency's next, right? You got to come to the gym 3 to 5 days a week. You can't treat every day like you're redlining it. Then you add intensity. Once you've nailed those first two charters,
Right.
mechanics and consistency, you can start adding intensity, which is relative to you.
Yeah.
Your body's different
Yeah.
intensity than his is mine, and
Right. Right.
somebody who's just starting at 60.
Yeah.
So she has been steadfast in that and really reaping the benefits of it
That's
and
awesome.
feeling awesome. And the goals that people have, they're able, her goal was to be able to travel, to stay healthy enough to travel.
Wow. That's
like
awesome.
when she retires. How cool.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I'm doing it.
Yeah, it's awesome, and it's like I've read more than once that one of the biggest fighters against like bad genetics, like some people are hereditary rheumatoid arthritis, something like that. The biggest fighter against that is physical movement, physical training, in that type of aspect. So the idea that someone goes to your gym even at the later stages in life and makes so much progress and then like can continue on with a better lifestyle or continue the lifestyle they love for longer time,
That's the goal.
Right.
Yeah. So muscle is the organ of longevity.
There you go. Well
and we
said.
have a lot of women, myself included. My mother has osteoporosis. Women especially, not to say that men aren't at risk because they are, but women especially are at risk, much higher risk, 40-50% higher risk of osteopenia, osteoporosis. That's loss of bone mineral density,
Yeah.
or fractures, right? I think we all know somebody's fractured a hip doesn't usually go well.
Right.
So to have those people working on their bone density, and the only way to really do that is strength training. And we do that in the gym. So it's more than just also coming in and having your hour. We're working to keep people mobile by increasing their bone density, their muscle mass.
Yeah.
But also, nutrition is the
Right.
bottom of that pyramid. So I do offer nutrition coaching as
Nice.
well. I'm a certified nutrition coach. And so it is something that's talked about in the gym all the time. And then when practiced along with exercise, it just
Yeah.
changes your life.
Yeah. Yeah. When you can get a good diet that's complementary to the workout,
You have to look at what you're eating as fueling for performance.
Gotcha.
And because people who really get consistent in the gym, like their every day is, okay, what's the workout? What am I going to do in the workout today? Like they can't wait to either get up and get to the gym,
Yeah.
or they can't wait till later
Yeah.
to get out of work so they can come to the gym. So making the most out of their workouts, they're thinking, okay, well, I want to make sure I have enough protein.
Right.
And I would say there has not been one person who's come into the gym and been like, yeah, I eat enough protein. And then I look at the protein and I'm like, no, you don't eat enough protein. And that's it. They don't really, and it's not their fault. It's not
Yeah.
anyone's fault.
Yeah, the nutrition education has
It's
sorely
bad.
lacked.
Sorely lacked.
Yeah.
So they don't know whole foods. And I was the same way before I learned all this stuff.
Yeah.
We grew up going, we're in the McDonald's, era,
Right.
fast food,
Yeah.
packaged, processed, ultra processed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really awesome to see how many of the local farms and hobby farms that are coming out and
Yeah.
hitting the markets and just being available and selling food, because that's kind of a thankless job in itself.
It sure is.
Growing food and stuff. And we have Dylan on here all the time, Dylan Daigle, and his
One of my members does a chicken share there or something, and I have got to go.
Yeah, I just picked up my 5 chickens
Did you?
today.
She was probably there today.
Shout
too.
out
She
to
was saying
Dylan.
she was coming. Dylan, I'm coming down there.
Yeah,
I
so
gotta get
I'll
down
give you
there.
his contact info.
All right,
'Cause,
awesome.
I and Kyle gets it delivered. We get groceries delivered like every Friday from him, so it's all locally sourced. and
You can't
grown.
get any better than
Yeah,
that. Like
it's-
support those local farmers big
Yeah,
time. They're
so-
working so hard, but they're also giving you food that you know where it came from.
That, and he's like, I don't have any money to put GMOs or anything in this stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's like
Yeah.
we just grow the food.
Yeah, right. If you can grow it and
Yeah.
eat it an hour later,
Yeah.
like that's food.
Yeah, even for the animals that he has, and mostly chickens, but he sources the grain from a local grain
Yeah.
maker,
Which is
you know,
fantastic because that's
so
the other
it's
piece of
like,
it. Like,
yeah,
get even
it's like
deeper, right?
they're eating the grain that's grown locally.
Right.
So
That's fantastic. Oh man, I gotta get over there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Shout out to Daigle Farms. They are in they're busy, but they're also in their element, and
That's
it's
good.
really cool to see them and
That's fantastic. I love
how
to hear
well
that.
they're doing. And yeah,
Nice.
they talk about their different expansions and how many more chickens they got to get. And right now, you can only order 2 dozen eggs for delivery
No kidding.
because they have so many people. So I love that they're
Yeah, eggs are super expensive.
they're yeah, and theirs aren't that bad, especially when they're delivered to your house. To me, I'm like, okay, we'll pay that. That's
Well,
for
I
sure.
chuckle because I always said to my husband, I was like, we should get chickens because then we don't have to buy eggs. Like
Yeah.
$3,000 later for the chicken coop and the chickens
Feeding them.
and the food,
Yeah.
and then the hawks take them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
we're
that's
back to
another.
buying eggs. It was terrible, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. That is the way of it, though. If you have livestock, you have dead stock too.
Well, that was as a girl who grew up north of Boston to come in and do this was definitely a learning experience. It was a little bit of a culture shock. I loved it, but
Yeah.
man, that was some hard living on the farm for some of these
I bet.
What
you know,
town?
creatures.
What town?
Dudley,
Oh, okay.
Dudley, Mass. Yeah, yeah, we're like on the Thompson Woodstock.
But no, what town did you
Oh.
grow up in?
Oh, I'm sorry, Peabody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Way up.
Not Peabody. Peabody.
Is there a Peabody?
No.
Oh,
Definitely not. Not if you're from New England.
oh, gotcha. Does it look like Peabody in this?
Yeah,
spelling?
that's
Okay. It's just like every
does.
town.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna enunciate it this way.
Right. Worcester.
Worcester.
Leominster.
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, so that's cool that you have people working out at your place and
Yeah.
getting food locally and whatnot.
Yeah. And so the other thing, if I could mention about the nutrition coaching, sometimes it gets a bad rap. People think they've got to count macros, right? I don't count macros. I do not want to. I have time is the most valuable thing we all have, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to put my food on a scale and worry about those numbers. So we use a habit-based plate method approach, and it's not just the food you eat too, right? Of course, nutrition is your food, but it's also exercise, it's sleep, it's
Yeah.
gut health. Are you getting enough fiber? People underestimate that like crazy. Sugar, what's in some of these drinks is if you're
Lot of
drinking
sugar.
a lot of
Yeah,
sugar.
yeah.
Do you have any idea how many grams of sugar that is recommended for a adult male or female a day?
Should be
I-
0.
I've done 0.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's
hard.
way better.
Yeah.
But I've taken a gram of sugar and put it on the scale just to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more than you think.
Yeah. So
it's
to
a
say
pile.
24 grams
Yeah.
of added sugar.
Or the drinks that you get that say, oh, it's,
Right.
0.5 grams per
It's
serving.
deceptive.
Okay, but it's 2 servings,
Right.
and then you put that. It's like a
So now there's-
tablespoon, or
yeah,
whatever. Like,
it's
oh my god,
deceptive.
that's a lot of sugar.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, that's added sugar. So we just sort of also I will encourage people, see what you're really getting. People in my program, like, let's track it. What are you really taking in for your
Yeah.
sugar
That
every
was
day?
definitely
It might
an
open your eyes.
eye opener for me when
Yeah.
I just started reading the labels, and then I did start. At one point, I was because you can get the apps with the barcodes.
Oh
So
yeah.
just
We
see.
have that in ours
'Cause
too.
I had
Yeah.
no idea what a calorie is. I remember being on treadmills and being like, "Oh, you burned 80 calories." I'm like, "That's it," like.
Yeah, but it's your macros, and those aren't really designed to.
And for
be
me, it
accurate.
was just like I had no idea. I must have been consuming somewhere around 5,000 or 6,000 calories a day, and
That's not unusual.
who knows what it was.
Right.
But I only burn like the sedentary burn.
Yeah.
Is
Less than 2,000.
1,600.
Yeah.
And then I found out that my break even was 2,100.
Right.
So
So
and that was with a workout.
there's calories in versus calories out.
Yeah,
That's why I
so-
say exercise to support, eat to support exercise, not body fat.
Right.
So that's our CrossFit methodology too. Is the CrossFit methodology, which I think can take things. If you're looking to be an elite athlete, yes, you've got to follow this system of eat meat, vegetables, nuts, seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar, and starches, things like potatoes, things like that. Now, is that 99.9% of the population? No, but we can limit our sugar and limit processed foods, and that's just a good idea for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's an adjustment. It has caused some upsetness in my house with the teenager because he does like cereal, and that is a
Yeah.
huge offender of sugar.
Oh, yeah.
Huge.
Yeah. Yeah, we have
So,
the same battle going on here, for sure.
be strong.
I'm trying.
Me too. I get worn down.
It's like it's such a. I mean, yeah. For kids at my kids' age, it's like it's tough for them to see that longevity. Like, oh, it didn't affect me. Like,
Yeah, they.
yeah, it doesn't
can't.
affect you right now, but
Yeah.
you're in a habit now. Like,
Yeah.
we have to curb that.
Right.
That's like, and it's always such a. They don't see it like that.
No, and it's not any,
Yeah.
and even adults trying to make a new habit or stop an old habit.
Right.
So hard.
It's very hard.
And we know it, but it's very hard
Yeah.
because there's that little part of our brain that is addicted to the processed foods and the sugar, and that's the way it was intended by
Right.
some of these food companies.
Yeah.
I don't want to get on a soapbox about it. but it-
No, I
it's a
agree.
little
I've,
scary
I've
when
been
you-
down those rabbit
Have you?
holes.
Have
like,
you
oh
with
yeah,
the
for sure.
tobacco companies?
Yeah,
right?
the tobacco companies that
Ugh.
own the food companies. Yeah.
Mm.
and the
messed
chemical
up.
companies.
Right.
Yeah.
It's almost
Yeah.
like a pyramid scheme.
More
Worse.
of a monopoly on your
Yeah.
You missed the
nutrition.
joke.
Oh.
The food pyramid.
Oh. Great
Yeah.
joke, Kyle.
Big pharma, big food.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. How do we do this?
Is there a ding ding? I love that. Lucy shook her head no. She's like, I'm out.
Yeah. She'll eat anything.
Yeah. Most doesn't
Most
have
dogs.
sugar though.
Both of my dogs will eat anything, and we are very good about keeping them on.
They
a
look
diet.
like they're in
They-
awesome shape.
Yeah, that's can be a struggle because they'll eat. Literally, they will eat anything you put in front of them.
Yeah.
And when we first got her, she would eat so much of the foliage around. I'm like, I thought dogs were carnivores.
She's a
eating all these
vegetarian.
plants all over the place. I'm like, stop it. So,
Oh, that's funny. That's great.
but yeah, we're pretty disciplined with how much we feed them. Mainly because it's the kids' chore and they want to do it as little as possible. So that's like,
I can so relate to that.
No, they don't need food today. They look fine.
They ate once yesterday.
yeah.
Our dogs are
Oh.
pretty good about telling us when they're hungry.
Yeah.
What kind of dogs do you have?
Golden Doodle and a mini Dachshund.
Oh,
Yeah.
love that. A mini one, huh?
Yeah, Kyle
Yeah.
doesn't really have the mini dachshund so much as she owns him.
Well-
She owns everybody in the
and
family.
is the
Yeah,
CEO
she's got that
of-
personality.
Oh,
They
they all those Dachshunds do.
You know, my friend, I just this weekend watched a part dachshund while my friend was at an event this weekend, and man,
Oh, they
just
are.
a kind soul he is. He's so full of energy,
Mm.
but he is a sweetheart.
Yeah, it's definitely a great, nice dog, but I just feel like it's more Kyle's wife's dog, and
Oh, absolutely.
she likes to
Yeah.
let him know that a lot. Like the dog likes to let him know that.
Yeah, yeah.
She owns everybody in the house, including the dog that's like 6 times her size.
You are my.
I love that about these little dogs. They're just fearless.
Sarah's my number one
Yeah.
human. Kyle's like 6 on the list.
She has her human, and then there's spare humans. And the
There
spare
you go.
humans
That's a great way of saying it.
Spare humans to use
never
as she sees fit.
really do it for her, but she'll accept it until the human comes home.
She'll
That is,
feel.
I've watched his dog. That is definitely her personality. Yeah, I'll tolerate you while
It's like,
you're
oh,
here.
you're sitting. You may be here a while. All right, I'll come over to you. I don't know when I'm going to see my humans.
That's fantastic.
She's very blunt.
Aw, that's
Yeah.
cute.
But she's great. She doesn't bite or nip or even bark much. She's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're dog people, and I love how we're in this downtown area with all the dogs too.
All the
So
dog
there's
stuff.
Underdog,
Yeah.
Chubby
Yeah.
Dog, 2 dogs.
Yeah.
Dogs, yeah.
Yeah,
And
it just
they-
was a totally coincidental. People ask me all the time, "Did you mean to?" And it's like, let's think about that.
Yeah.
None of
Yeah.
us knew each other.
It is funny though, because you kind of like almost know the personality walking in. that they're dog people. That
Yeah.
and
Have cool
honestly, all
people.
three of you have really good products and services. This is
I
great.
mean, yeah.
So we should have Jason rename North
Star.
to something with a dog.
Dog star. Dog star.
North
Dog,
dog.
North
Yeah.
dog.
I don't know.
Well, it doesn't have the same ring to it, but
Dog upstairs.
It would be appropriate.
he doesn't fit in. Is all I'm saying.
That's fair.
He does with the service part of it. It's just funny that his name doesn't have anything to do with dogs.
So we actually had a Christmas event where you either brought a new and unwrapped toy for Toys for not Toys for Tots, Teague,
T. Okay.
or $5 more donation, and I have this little printer that does color photos, and my husband dressed up like Santa, and people could bring their dogs in to get their photos taken
Cool.
with Santa. So we're gonna do it again this year. So I
Oh,
make sure
okay.
you bring the dogs in.
Okay.
And we had like a whole like wrapped wall of wrapping presents and a tree. We took bets, but nobody peed on the tree, so that's really good. And we had a really good showing
Yeah.
of people that
awesome.
brought their dogs in, brought
Yeah.
a toy, brought money. We gave them a photo. Like,
That's
not
cool.
everybody gets their dog's picture
You
taken
should
with.
put dress your dog up as a reindeer that sits with them.
That is funny because my son Brady was the reindeer.
Oh.
And I was Mrs. Claus, and we did a whole thing, and we had other
Cool.
members that were,
Yeah.
there and helping, and yeah. I can't remember who was
Reindeers,
dressed up.
elves, they can play any part.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, we had a lot of fun with that.
So my dogs, they're good now, but when they go to new places, it's only for like a minute and a half that they're super excited. But in a minute and a half, two 60-pound dogs with a lot of energy
Destruction,
can do a lot.
mayhem. Yeah,
Just running around and checking out the place and just being overall excited. So
Yeah.
I'll try to bring them.
yeah. I mean, that sounds great.
See how it goes.
That's okay, because you know what? We had some dogs that came in that were like, but they don't really like other dogs. It's like, okay, so we just shut the door, told people to just kind of hang tight for a second, got the photos. A couple
Yeah.
dogs had to come in, do the zoomies,
Mm.
get the picture,
Yeah.
and move on. So it was fun.
That's
It
funny.
was fun. Yeah,
Get the zoomies out
get the zoomies out.
in the gym
Hmm.
on Main
Yeah.
Street.
Yeah, I mean, my dog does the same thing. Someone
Yeah.
comes and it's really like, a minute in the house, and
Yeah,
then that's it.
Then it's it.
Yeah.
Then they're
Yeah.
They're good.
They're fine.
And then it'll just go lay on the floor.
Right. It's just they got to get it out of their system. They're excited.
Mm.
I get it. That's how I feel when somebody new walks in the gym.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I get
zoomies.
the zoomies, and a lot of my members get the zoomies. We we try to like calm each other, like it's okay.
Yeah.
But we do. We love new members.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people will come into a gym and afraid that they're not going to be said hi to, or
yeah.
whatever. It's just nerve wracking. And it's not to say that happens anywhere. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like this is the perception that some people
Yeah.
have, and I have a rule in my gym that I have never had to ever implement with a coach or any members or anything. Like 5 seconds. They have 5 seconds to enter before someone is in their face saying hi. But
Yeah.
that's how I've always wanted it.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because we want everybody to feel well. We have a little tiff going on in the background. Right behind me. I'm not sure who won. They want to go with Santa.
They
Yeah,
heard.
they're like, it's my- yeah.
That's exactly it. Yeah, they're usually better than that. I don't know. They didn't look like they were fighting over anything either. So that's the way it goes.
Oh, there they go.
Yeah.
So my 5-second rule, and then people, I think it just helps take that edge off.
Yeah, I think that there's this stigma with gyms,
Mhm.
right? And like everybody's intimidated when they go in because
Mm.
when you're going into a gym, you're broken, right? You're like, okay, I need help,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
we always just assume everybody at the gym is already in shape, but they're all just like us, broken and trying to get in shape, right? But it's just
That's it,
for
Kyle.
for so long there was that stigma of gyms, and that's why Planet Fitness came around and had the long alarm and all that stuff to try and
Right.
break the. Oh man, violated that one too many times.
Did you?
No. Really?
Yeah. It didn't
Yeah.
seem like
I
that
dropped
kind
the
of guy.
5-pounder. And I was like, ah. But that, I mean, that like
Yeah.
it's intimidating.
It is very intimidating.
Yeah.
So we really, it's, I don't want to say we really try to take the intimidating factor off because we're not trying.
Right.
Like we're not intimidating. And people will walk in and be like, yeah, I belong here. They're just like me. They're just like me. So I try to put stuff out on social media that shows sort of what actually happens in the gym, which is, people supporting each other, people working out hard, but also fun.
Yeah.
So much fun because we spend so much of our day giving ourselves to our jobs or our kids or just being serious in some of the roles we have to play all day. So just to come in the gym, be yourself, let loose. I mean, we have got some major goofballs with me being the main one, the absolute head of shenanigans, and they call me out on it all the time. And I mean, and I love that about them. But it's true because life is so serious. Just come in and just decompress, work out, and you'll make a friend. You'll connect with someone. That is a guarantee.
No.
That's the other thing. You know, adult friendships are also something that I think isn't always talked about. It's hard to make friendships as an adult for some people. And so, once you get to the gym, it's like you don't really have to think about what to talk about because we just are doing this workout and are you okay? How'd that feel? Like, you know what I mean? Like what weight are you using? Or, what is the coach saying? So, oh, what are those shoes? Or where'd you get that shirt? Like, it's an easy way to start conversations. And chances are somebody's going to come up to you and start a conversation with you, whether you like it or not.
I kind of made Kyle be my friend.
Did you? That's awesome. I love that. Are you okay with that, Kyle? You look a little reluctant.
We don't ask that.
The,
We don't ask that.
the jury's still out.
You let him watch your dog, though. That's a huge sign of friendship, I would say.
Yeah. Desperate times call for desperate measures. I mean, I think every pet owner can say,
Yeah.
I love having animals, but the biggest barrier is just being able to go to the beach for the whole day. And
That's
then you gotta let the animals out and stuff. So we have a sort of a reciprocity clause.
You do. This is great.
We do it.
You build that in?
Yeah. It was
Ah.
someone's usually always home to be able to do it.
That's
Either he's home
fantastic.
to do us or we're home
Yeah.
to take us out.
That's
So,
great.
yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, we got that. We got a couple of good neighbors that'll help us out too, because
It does help.
there are times that we actually hang out too.
Is that right? Outside of the stand right here?
That's fair. Yeah. Then we're really in trouble.
Yeah. Or actually, it was funny because one of the things that we, I don't know, connected on was our kids were hanging out. They went to school and soccer together. So then we were over at Kyle's house and I was like, yeah, we're going to Maine, such and such a weekend. And they're like, oh, what part? And it turns out we're like vacation like 40 minutes from each other. Like
This is like a match that's meant to happen.
Don't
Definitely. Oh,
make it worse.
this has been mentioned before. Or?
he tries to call me a stage 5 clinger, but that's not really how it goes.
Might be the other way
I don't
around.
try. I have.
Yeah, he tries to make the assertion that I'm a stage 5 clinger, but that's not really how it went.
I know that reference too, by the way, which makes it even better.
Yeah, we've had quite a few people on that don't know some of the references we use.
That's
with
amazing.
Well,
movies.
I have a gym full of people that know those references.
Yeah.
we've had younger kids on here.
Wow.
And some of them, you kind of test the waters by telling them it's Ricky and Lucy. The dogs,
Yeah.
like,
Oh, that's good.
what
You
does that
tested me
mean?
outside and I didn't know that. I'm like, oh.
what is that? And I'm like, oh, you don't know I Love Lucy? No,
What's
never heard of it.
Yeah.
Okay, you're too young. Go home.
Yeah. What's black and white TV?
Yeah.
I wasn't around for that, but I know on reruns I saw some.
Yeah, the reruns is where we got them. But what else?
I got something else.
Yeah,
I got a whole bunch.
shoot. Yeah.
I had a
hit us
member
with it.
say to me when I was telling them I was coming on here, and I said, it's a couple hours, and she's like, well, if anybody can talk for 3 hours, it's you, Erin. Erin.
She
She's smiling
either
right
popped
now.
in or is
Oh, did
watching.
she?
Yeah.
I love that.
Nice.
Yep, I'll call you out. She knows it. She knows. We'll send the memes back and forth about this later tonight.
Yeah, the record for us is 3 hours and 40 minutes. So.
Oh, challenge accepted. Except it's past my bedtime. at
Wow.
8.
That's Kyle's
Me
issue.
too. Me
Like, we gotta get our sleep. Special Olympics.
Oh.
Adaptive training.
Okay.
Yeah. So, we are a Special Olympics club. location. So if there are any schools, high schools, facilities that host their own Special Olympics club that would like to have their members come and do strength training, some weightlifting, whatever that particular group is interested in, they just need to give me a call. 860-800-4183. And also, and we will get them in for
Strength training.
an hour or
whatever
two
they-
session. Yeah, which
Wow.
is fantastic. So
Yeah.
we've been approved through Special Olympics Connecticut. We've had the training. We had, I don't know, I guess maybe like at least 10 members
Oh,
who
wow.
volunteered their time to just come in. So we've got this rotation. So we always have a volunteer available to come in
Nice.
with the coaches, to do that. And also, I mentioned I love doing personal training, but my big passion is working with people with special needs, disabilities of all sorts, recent amputees. I've worked with double amputees. I can work with people in a wheelchair. I've got some equipment. My bathrooms are ADA approved, or excuse me, accessible,
Yeah.
accessible.
Yeah.
I'm actually working with my new friend Mickey, who is 31, and for 10 years he's had traumatic brain injury. And in the sessions I've had him, he's already making progress. These are the kind of people who are told you're plateaued.
Yeah.
You're
I was
that's
just going to
it.
say that sounds like you have a soft spot for the people that have been told they can't or they're plateaued.
That's my whole thing.
Or
That's my
they
whole
won't
thing.
do something.
Yep.
And now it's challenge accepted.
Hold my beer.
Yeah.
I don't drink, but hold my beer, right?
Yeah.
If they tell you
Hold my
you can't,
non-alcoholic
it
Guinness.
just makes me want to help them more, because I think, is it regulated by insurance that maybe they just don't have the time to put in? Possibly. Managed care is tough. Or is it just people who, you're seeing all sorts of, I don't know what the reason is, but it's what I do all day now. It's
Yeah.
my passion. And I am relentless at trying to help people do things that they're told they can't do, because they can. And I also have a friend in the CrossFit space who is in a wheelchair. He was paralyzed, and he owns a gym out in the Midwest.
Wow.
And he was paralyzed before he owned the gym.
Yeah.
Like, by all intents and purposes, nobody ever told him, hey, you're going to go on to be this amazing wheelchair athlete and do CrossFit and own a gym and teach people how to do movements that, yeah, you physically can't do, but you're going to show people. And like, does it get more inspiring? He's a
Right.
huge, huge, huge advocate for people with disabilities and special needs. And I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So if anyone does have someone who's in a situation where they feel like they've, been told, hey, you've plateaued, or, people have muscle atrophy,
Mhm.
tendon shortening, things like that. Like, that's what we want to work with, right? We want to get those muscles built back up. We want to, and I think some people are afraid because family members or doctors or whatever, because if they go, that hurts. Well, what's going to hurt more is if we don't use it,
Right.
and now you're not independent.
Right.
That's a
Right.
tougher life. That's a
Yeah.
tougher road. So I'm
For
not
sure.
afraid of that either.
Yeah.
So seizures, that's another one. People are afraid to work with people with seizures. And I learned this in my adaptive inclusive training. People are going to have a seizure whether they're at the gym or they're not. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
going to happen.
Yeah.
So, we're going to keep them as safe as possible, and we'll work with them.
Right.
So I'm up for that challenge, and it really, it's passion. I love it.
And it, like, with working out or not just movement, like the excessive movement. I don't like saying excessive, but like you do a workout or some sorts of exercise for even 20 minutes a day, that gets your blood pumping so much more to heal different parts of the body.
Oh, God, yeah.
In that way. And whereas the sedentary, you're not getting your heart rate up, you're not pumping more blood, more cells, more stuff
Mm-hmm.
to the
Yeah.
injured area or
to
whatever.
any area. So what happens?
Yeah.
So now we've got this little space where we're not using it, and that oxygen in the blood is not reaching those edges.
Right.
Those edges get tighter and tighter, and now we've got muscle atrophy, and that's harder to build back from, but it doesn't mean it's impossible.
Right.
So yeah.
No,
But-
that's really cool.
Oh.
That's really
You
cool
know, and
that
that's
you
the
offer
stuff I
that.
think. Yeah, well, because there's a need, and I've always felt that way about and I've always had a soft spot. Yeah.
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 That's awesome.
So
So that's like just above and beyond. You know what I mean? Like
it's not. I mean, yeah. I don't know.
but it in the idea that it's you're obviously not there for just a paycheck in that
Oh
regard.
God, no.
You're not only taking these members that
I haven't had a
you know.
paycheck yet.
Thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate you sharing that because
I mean, but that's
you
not
know,
why I'm
it's-
doing it either, which
Right.
kind of sounds crazy, right? But you do something you don't love for 15 years, you go do something you're passionate about,
Yeah.
everything changes.
it's very different. So, wow. That's really cool.
Yeah.
When are the Special Olympics? Are they coming up?
They just had their
had it,
Yep.
okay.
So they just had their games, Special Olympics games. So that's the summer games. I'm honestly not sure because we're more in a club space, not the competitive
Okay.
kind of space.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they have one in the. They probably have a winter.
They have one. They had
Right?
a soccer one at Prince Hill
That's what they just did at
in the
Prince Hill. Yeah.
spring. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
June.
Yeah.
Was it this past weekend? The weekend
No, it
before?
was 3 weeks ago, maybe.
gosh.
2 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks ago.
It's by fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But that's strictly soccer. I don't know, like the track and field stuff. I don't know when they do that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we haven't delved into that piece of things. We are right now trying to build our own little club, so getting those people, but also being a space for the existing club. So if they are an existing club, they know what this means. So it just basically is if you're an existing club, we're all
Yep.
trained and ready for you. Come on and let's do some strength training,
Nice.
weightlifting, whatever you want your club to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and there's not a, it's my understanding, there's not a whole heck of a lot up in this area. So we're excited to try to build it up.
My good friend of the bench, and he's marrying my cousin, Steve Gilbo. He offers, or he always volunteers his. He's a lifeguard, certified lifeguard, so he always is volunteering
For the
at
swim.
swims.
Yeah, the swims look
so,
so fun.
yeah.
They're big on swimming. I
Yeah.
love that.
So now my cousin and my aunt also volunteer.
Sure.
They're not lifeguards, but they
Yeah, they do.
volunteer
There's a
at it.
million
Yeah.
things that they have a need for.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it just goes right up the, we're always saying volunteer local,
Yeah. Well, it's true. It's true. And I'm sure it's really appreciated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big thing. Like all these, like even like Adam at Chubby Dog, if he doesn't volunteer to do the summer small town music fest, I mean, it just doesn't happen. So it's
Right.
like,
Well, that's it. Right. So
those-
somebody's going to kind of jump
Yeah.
in and do some of the things.
yeah. So like a lot of those things, like it's just other average people like us just going and doing it. You
Yeah.
know, it's really like a lot of people are like intimidated to start volunteering, or they don't
Yeah.
know what to do, or they don't know what they would offer. It's like start out with just showing
Just
up.
call.
Yeah.
Like, just call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Because a lot of it's
'cause-
not. Yeah, you don't know what to do. Same thing coming into a gym. Like, you don't know what to expect, but just come in. We'll tell you.
right.
Or call
Yeah.
call the
Yeah.
Special
and
Olympics. They'll tell you.
it's to my understanding that CrossFit, you guys have different levels every day. So like you have 4 different levels, right? When you come in?
So
Like-
I mean, 3, 4, I guess, depending how you look at it. So I am very, I don't want to say loose with that. I like to make adjustments to the programming that's in my gym. I feel wildly responsible for everyone that's in the gym. So we have RX, which is the prescribed workout of the day. So you got to think the CrossFit programming in general is basically for anyone age 16 to 90. So how are you going to get the stimulus of this workout for someone in between those age ranges, or 100, how old you can get, and make it work so that they get the same benefit, right? The needs of our grandparents differ from an elite athlete by degree, not kind. So think about the workout as differing by degree, not the kind of workout that we're doing. So RX prescribed. So your high level, strongest athlete in the gym is going to do RX.
Gotcha.
Then there's a newer one that I bring into the gym because I've got people in my gym 55 plus, RX 55 plus masters. So theirs is a little step down from that. A lot of times it's similar to intermediate, which is where quite a few of our people in the gym live. It's where most of my living is. And then there's beginner, and that can really range from quite beginner to different levels that I see because I know my athletes, right? Who's what level beginner, right? Not quite intermediate, not that much of a beginner. So we're going to scale them up or down to find a weight, to find a movement, shorten a movement maybe, right? A power clean, taking it from the floor overhead. Well, maybe we're doing it from the knee, calling it a hang. So did that sort of diatribe on your question?
No, it's like there's so many levels. It makes it much easier for someone who has no idea or some that have some experience. And,
Yeah.
you know.
So we mix and match it because sometimes those numbers are great for one movement, but they're not great for another. So really what we try to preserve is the stimulus or the effect we're trying to get out of the workout. So if the effect is, going a little bit longer in the workout for maybe some jump rope or something, or say jump rope, and then maybe we're doing lower reps of a deadlift, but a heavier weight. Typically we'll do heavier weight, lower reps, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is he running off for the dog? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing about CrossFit that's always been so interesting is that it's the same workout, right, for everybody, and you just modify the weight, or sometimes the workout itself is modified just for them, right? But it's it's pretty interesting. I've never actually done CrossFit. I do.
What?
I do X3. I don't know if you ever heard of X3.
I have not.
So X3 is like it's a band system. It was designed by this Dr. John Jankwish, and it's like as a bar. He's like a physical medicine. I don't know if you've heard of osteo. His mother had
Arthritis.
osteoporosis.
Process. Yep.
And he created a program and has these gyms all over the world to battle osteoporosis.
What's it called? X3.
Yeah, X3.
So when you say bands, are you talking resistance bands?
Yep. Yeah. So the bar is this long.
Yeah.
And it's a resistance band, and it has a metal plate on the floor. And he has a program. So the design of the program is that your muscles you'll build more muscle for tension over time versus like 30, 40 reps. So he has like a whole program built for it, and it's very short workouts per day.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No, I haven't heard of that. But, there's, as long as people are, I'm not like, oh, if you don't do CrossFit, you're not doing it. You're not doing stuff.
Right.
That's definitely not it.
Yeah, just get out
CrossFit's
and move.
for anybody. It's for everybody, but it's not for anybody. No, it's not for anybody, but it's not for everybody. There's got to be something. Yeah, if that makes sense.
But typically a gym has its radius of people that you're going to, like, if someone hears this from, like, I don't know, like 30 minutes away from the gym,
Oh, gosh.
probably not going to go to your gym.
Probably
gonna
not.
Go to another gym.
There's probably 16 other gyms on the way to mine.
Right.
Yeah.
From that point.
That's like kind of the thing with gyms.
Like how many blocks are you away from the members?
If I'm going to do a workout, one of the first thing is, or if I'm going to consistently work out, how convenient is it to work out?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you have
That's always the first thing that gets people in, like, how close is it?
Yeah.
But I do have people who live on the other side of Putnam and deep into Woodstock, and they just love the vibe.
Yeah.
Right.
So then they want to, but to get them in the first place, right?
Yeah.
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 So there's definitely your exceptions or anomalies,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, because there's
like
there's
a gym is like a real estate agent. It's location, location, location.
right, and coffee and all that stuff. Yeah, there's
Well,
enough to go around. I have an
that's
abundance
the other-
mindset. That's the other thing.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is your location. What else is around it that they'll benefit from being down, right?
Say again? Well, they'll benefit from being
Yeah,
in it.
like
Right.
they
Yeah.
like the coffee shop that they'll stop at after, or they
Oh,
like
gosh,
this
yeah.
or that, right?
It's such a bustling downtown too, so it's
There's
really kind of
Healers like 50 feet down from you, Noreen Wallace and her daughter.
yes, yeah. So she is a member.
Nice.
Hopefully, I'm not outing you, Christine.
Mm.
But she also does. We have an agreement. She does offer yoga to our members once a month
Oh,
as part
beautiful.
of their unlimited membership.
that's cool.
So if you have not had yoga with Christine, like you need to run to yoga with Christine.
Yeah.
It's about an hour and a half long. Amazing. It's a slow flow. She was doing it inside our gym. But it was at 6:30 at night, and 8 o'clock's bedtime.
Yeah. Hey,
So I was like,
preach it.
I was like, I gotta ride for half hour. I can't do it. I can't do it. And we had a few people that felt that way, and she's there on Sundays,
Yeah.
or every other. And so, yeah, I mean, we just love. It's a slow flow, 90 minutes ish. You'll feel so good.
Yeah.
Totally stretched out, totally mindful, just awesome.
Yeah.
So that's also another benefit.
Yeah, they're
being
like
a member at the
they-
gym.
Yeah, they have a lot going on at the Holistic Collective.
Well, that's
So,
another. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. And they do
So,
amazing things
'cause
for
they-
people who've.
Breathing coach.
Yep.
They have the sauna, the
Hyperbaric chamber.
hyperbaric.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
they got a bunch of stuff going
Yeah,
on. A lot
they're
of
healers up
classes
there.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Very
yeah,
cool.
that's pretty
There's
cool.
cool things in downtown Danielson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No question about it.
No, it's definitely awesome to see.
Yeah.
So, any future plans? Any big movements, additions, anything like that coming up?
Movements. I mean, we have some gym event things like going on. Yesterday we were actually hoping we had some members that were going to skydive
Oh wow.
Oh,
together.
Okay.
Yeah. These are members that didn't know each other before coming in the door either.
That's
can I
cool.
just say? And they want to jump out of a plane together.
Nice.
Like, wow.
a perfectly good airplane.
Perfectly working airplane. And I do have two of my other, two of the members are, they don't do, they just skydive on their own, like they have their own
Oh,
equipment.
they've
They just-
already got. The
Oh yeah,
license.
yeah, and I
The
think they've
license.
been
That's awesome.
trainers at one point, like they're trainers or they were trainers too. So,
Yeah.
that helped make the decision for people who want to jump.
Yeah.
They didn't get to jump yesterday because of the cloud cover,
Mm,
so it's better to be
yeah.
safe. We learned a whole bunch about what that means.
Yeah, you're not allowed to jump through a cloud.
Yeah, and
why?
why though? Because you
they're-
can't see
hippie
if there's other
scene, yeah.
people,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
you
no
might
kidding.
hit somebody or another.
Or a helicopter. Or a
or
plane.
not. Yeah, the ground is there when you come out of the clouds.
Well, you don't know when to release your
Yes.
chute. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, there's
If
quite a bit
that's
that goes
the
into
concern,
it.
I don't want to do it.
Come on. I did it. It's fun.
Did you do it? Did you
Oh,
go
yeah.
to Danielson?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Danielson.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So they're
mean,
gone.
it was almost 20 years ago, but that was
Oh,
one
live
thing
to
I
tell.
was like, yeah, if I had money, this is something I could get addicted to
Yeah, I could see
Wow.
how.
every Sunday. And there were guys there. We were there on a Sunday, and that's like their busiest day. If it's a nice day,
Yeah.
like they all suit up and they just
They jump more than
go,
once in a
keep
day.
going. Sometimes if you got the
money.
if you got
Well, I
the
think
money,
if you have your own
well,
equipment,
if you have
right?
different
Yeah.
shoots,
Yeah,
if you
so,
can
yeah.
get the
'Cause they gotta
availability.
get repacked.
So with the plane that we took up, then you could sit 4 jumpers and a pilot, and the so we had most of the time when you have somebody that's a new jumper, you're tandem with somebody else in there, and then you have videographer that jumps out with you.
Oh wow.
So then that one spot can be the seasoned
Mhm.
Capture
Yeah.
your moment.
someone that jumps in. Yeah, I have
'Cause
the
they want
video.
to sell
That's
it to you.
Yeah, so I'm sure that's what makes quite a bit of the money for those places is having people just do their one jump that's tandem and they get videoed and they put music to it and send you the video later, or that's what it was back then. Now
Yeah.
it's probably all pretty instant.
I don't know. Well, maybe like Kyle said, there were people lined up. They were waiting to go, and they didn't. They at least when we were there, we waited about an hour and a half, and it just wasn't changing. And I was just going to watch. I'm not.
I don't know. I think it's awesome.
I think it's awesome too, but I think
worth
it's
it.
awesome from the
To me,
ground.
like it's funny because I've talked to people about like, all right, would you rather jump out of a plane or go public speak? They're like,
Ugh,
I'd rather jump out of a plane, and I'm like,
Mm.
yeah.
you don't like to me. You almost when I first started public speaking, you kind of got that rush. And I was like, you get a rush, and then you
Yeah.
get used to it, and you get used to it, and you get used to it. It's the same thing with I don't know. There's
Yeah.
way less chance of dying unless you, I don't know. when
Public
you're
speaking? I don't know. It depends what kind. If you're going on like a TEDx, it's like you might have a heart attack or TED Talk, whatever it is.
You might want to die if you say the
Yeah.
wrong thing.
Right.
But I don't know. I kind of equated it to the same feeling of that
Yeah.
scariness, but it's the rush, and then you get that rush of dopamine, and then it goes away, and then I'm sure if I jumped again and again and again, it would
be less and less.
less and less.
I don't know, but I could
Just
bet that
increases
could
your
certainly be the
chance of having that sudden stop.
Yeah.
to go out on a cloudy day.
Yeah, it has to be a nice sunny day. When I worked at Woodstock Building Associates, shout out to them, they had a guy that jumped a lot. He was from like Lowell, Massachusetts, so he drove in. But when on the weekends, he would go, and I had drawings as part of my interview to show them, like, I know what a building is, and where, like, I had framing drawings and stuff like that because I was an architectural at Ellis Tech. And the guy comes in, he goes, "Oh, you guys hiring a new draftsman?" like, "Yep, you're fired." And he goes, "At least fire me on a good day, on a nice day." It was raining out. He was like,
Oh, he wanted to go jump?
I'll go jump.
Yeah, that's his whole life. That's
his
what he was
whole
thinking
thing.
of.
Yeah. He's like, "At least fire me on a nice sunny day."
Oh man, I get that on so many levels. I would
Yeah.
have loved if they fired me from insurance. We're like, all right, I'm gonna go do my gym thing now. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we did that. We've got, we do specialty clinics. We'll do clinics about a certain movement so that people can dial in the mechanics on that movement or learn it in a slower pace. One more one-on-one. So we have a gymnastics one coming up, and then every month we do a challenge. It started off with one month. Last June I wanted to do 1,000 sit-ups in the month of June.
Okay.
So I told people I want to do 1,000 sit-ups, and then everybody's like, "Well, I want to do 1,000 sit-ups," and so then they all did 1,000. So then July happened, and they're like, "What are we doing next?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm done with my sit-ups. Nothing."
1,000 push-ups.
So we did push-ups. It wasn't 1,000,
No.
but we did push-ups. And on the last day, because it was so much on everybody's arms, on that last day, we had one girl who walked in, threw her bag down, and was like, "I'm doing my push-ups right here, right now." And she just banged them out unbroken, and she had never done push-ups before. So she had been with me since March too. So that was awesome.
She was probably
So
sore
how
the
many
next
did
day.
you do?
Gosh, how many? Oh God, she's gonna kill me. I don't remember what the challenge was.
500.
I don't even remember.
In one shot?
Yeah, that's the thing. She banged out. Oh, this is what it was. We did, because you got to think. I opened in March. We've got brand new people who've never done these movements. I'm not trying to injure people. I'm very cautious that way. I'd rather always people feel like they left and could have done more than too much. It was one push up per day of the month. So on day 1 you do 1, day 2 you do 2, day 3,
okay.
and she came in and banged out 30.
Okay.
And just got down and was like,
Yeah.
"Grr," and,
Okay. Definitely.
and she was the only one that held on through the whole month.
Wow.
So then came another challenge, Then these bracelets came into play. If you finish a challenge, you get a bracelet. So I have all these different colored CrossFit Underdog Union bracelets.
Are they for sale?
They are not for sale.
You got to earn them.
Yeah, they're hard earned, Kyle.
I'll find the black market.
So this it's under a desk at my gym. This month, so we're doing the gymnastics challenge, is what I was saying, and to circle back, this challenge is to get 20 miles hiking.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
But it's got to be hiking, not
Walk.
Road.
running, walking. Like we
Yeah.
want to be in the woods.
I mean, we have a great place in New England to hike.
Oh.
Just everywhere.
Everywhere.
There's
Look
so
around.
many trails.
Goodwin for
Yes. So we're going to go to
South Forest,
Wolfsten on
Wolfsten.
Yeah.
Saturday after our clinic. We're going to all take a hike, go for a hike, get 4 or 5 miles. So we're going to accumulate a certain amount in the month of June. 2 months ago, we did a 50-mile walker run outside. What was that, May? What's this, May, June, April? It was April. Didn't matter if it rained. Like, just get
Yep.
it done.
Just do
We
it.
have a very short season to be outside in New England, if you think about it, with nice weather. So I don't know what we're going to do next month, but pretty
Oh.
sure it's going to be outside.
Burpees in the snow. I've done it.
In July.
He's in the snow. Oh, they're going to scream at that one.
Or you go to a
What if you don't get snow? That's
well.
the challenge.
We'll just put some ice out.
I just happened. So when
Burpees in the snow.
back when I was working out more, I still try to. every day or try it. And like I have a partner that I work out with, but at one point I would like split wood by hand. So you split wood, fill up a wheelbarrow, and before you dump it off where it's got to be stacked,
Yeah.
you do 10 burpees.
I love this.
Like,
Tell me
and
more.
it was raining, and then it started
I love it.
snowing, and I was like,
Tell me more.
So, well, if you guys want to come split wood as a class anytime,
Listen.
I will buy the axes.
That is a hell of a workout. So this July, well, some point in July, I don't have the date yet, since I told you earlier I live on a farm. The farmers live on a farm. We're gonna have Fahmah. We're gonna have farm games, and I've got like a little hill, and I've got a secured tire. We're gonna just go all old school tire flip, which I've never done. If that's being honest,
I
I've
thought
never.
that was like a
flipped
thing you
tire.
had to do to be in CrossFit.
No, definitely not. I think there's a little misperception of CrossFit. We do functional movements. Some of the exaggerated stuff is a little kind of crazy, but that's not us. So, yeah, so we're gonna do some farm games. So splitting wood. I don't know. Can we put picking weeds in there maybe?
Picking weeds.
Like a
Yeah.
like a squat,
Like crawling around.
jump squats and
cat cow.
Yeah.
Pulling weeds.
something. Like in a pool, we'll jump in the pool. We'll run a lap around the near. I don't know what we're gonna do, but we are gonna do like a farm games cookout, and then like have a workout, and have a cookout.
When
and
I
have
was
fun. So we
growing
do
up,
that.
we had like a neighboring or I don't know what they call it, neighborhood from ours, and my friend lived there, and he had a pool, so we created our own triathlon. We started. What do you do first? Bike?
Swim.
Swim. So you had to swim so many miles so many
Holy crap!
so many
that's
laps
terrible.
in pool, in
What a
this
mean
pool.
friend.
And then we would
He wasn't
run.
like Matt, was he?
We no.
I'm much meaner.
Then we would run back to my house.
Yeah.
And it was like through a trail.
It's fantastic.
And then we would run. It was fantastic. It was great. We had a blast.
Right? See, great memories.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. And I won. So it was great.
Even better. Icing on the cake.
How much did you cheat?
Cheat.
I know
No.
you
Cheat at
I know you-
anything except food. And is it really cheating? You're just cheating yourself.
That's it, right? Oh gosh. Yeah, so we get those things coming up. Actually, there was some of the girls in the gym wanted to do like a mud run, like an obstacle course for OCR. I'm not real big into the OCRs. I've done them, but like not my favorite. But I mean, it's a mud run. I don't mind.
Together.
Yeah, let's get in the dirt and just go.
Like Tough Mudder. Like
Tough
those
Mudder.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one, I'm not even sure where is it, in the Hartford area or something.
There's one at Gaylord Hospital. They do. It's called the Gaylord Gauntlet, and it raises money for the hospital. It's actually pretty wild. So there's people there that are like in wheelchairs and stuff.
Oh.
And there's
I know this place.
staff that are like carrying them through these obstacles.
Let's
courses.
go.
Yeah.
I
It's
love
wild.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a buddy that runs them a lot, like a couple a year, and he says there's always a group of guys that are like, they're like ex-military, retired military, and they're carrying buddies and doing the whole teamwork thing. It's like
So cool.
they have to have it. It's like their fix.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Kind
Yep.
Yeah.
of have that brotherhood, that camaraderie, all that. So cathartic, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Therapeutic.
Right.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. So there's one at Gaylord.
Yeah, it's called the Gaylord Gauntlet. They have,
looking
and
at
it
that.
raises money for the Gaylord Hospital. It's like a rehab hospital.
I think is that a amputee?
I believe it is because
facility? I think I've heard of
something
that.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never done it. My wife's done it.
Has she?
Yeah.
Super challenging, or she's.
It's like a Tough Mudder. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah, the one of my poker buddies who does them, he says there's some of them where you're underneath barbed wire in the mud, like going.
Yeah.
You're like climbing over a wall,
Right.
roping the walls.
Yeah. There's like fire.
Yeah, there's
Like
dumpsters full
primal.
of ice, so you got to swim underneath the wall and out.
Yeah, that
Like,
sounds.
all kinds of stuff. Like,
That sounds kind of
No,
fun.
yeah.
huh?
No.
Icy water, cold plunge.
For what? What am I trying to prove? And to who?
I'll have to look at that. Yeah. So we're as a group, we're gonna do the mud run. That's on the 22nd. I think we get that coming up, and then. Yeah, just as things
And it's
come up, I try to
Christmas.
support. Yeah, and then it's Christmas. I know. It's so sad. We have to go through Halloween first. You know, we had 3,000, just about 3,000 kids come through the gym last
Oh
Halloween.
my god!
Wow.
So Main Street
Now
does.
that was for that event, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, they told me, and I thought there's just no way.
Well, that was the first year they did that, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Because
No. No.
oh, okay.
I don't think so. We did haunted house.
Oh,
So we
okay.
opened up the gym. Oh man, we cannot wait for next year. So we opened up the gym and we sort of had it like roped, like with like caution tape,
Mhm.
Yeah.
to make it look scary. And the fogger. We had people walking around like zombies that were gym members, like just mumbling to themselves, just walking around. I can't believe how many people love Halloween and they go crazy with this
Oh,
stuff.
yeah,
Like
It's been an eye opener.
oh, my friend Michelle, she's like just banging against like a foot against the wall that she had, just walking up and down. I'm like, this is wild. And the kids came in, and I mean, we had a line out the door and down the street, and we had them do 3 exercises, grab their candy right out the other door.
Oh, cool.
So it kept,
Yeah.
some organization.
Yeah.
So that's what we'll be doing in the fall. That's an all
So is it
hands on
like
deck.
One sit up, one push up, and
We didn't have anybody. These kids are all in big costumes too. We had some
Oh,
kids
yeah.
coming in with like these
That's true.
inflatables. It was really funny to see them. So we had like, gosh, I think it was like air squats, some like soldier kicks, something simple, and maybe jumping jacks. Like it was very.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And every parent we could get to do it did it too. And there were some really good sports. So
Cool.
there was a burpee actually. Yeah, there was a burpee. The kids were awesome. They loved it. It
Wonder
was
if you
something
could
different.
Dress up as a burpee for Halloween. I don't even know what that would look like.
I always think of a burp.
We
And
just
how it makes
had-
you want to puke if you do enough.
So just dress
That's
up as
true.
vomit, and then you go as
Or just vomit on
a
yourself.
big
I'm
puddle
a
of vomit.
burpee
I'm a
gone
burp.
wrong. I'm a set of burpees gone wrong.
Oh man.
We actually just had our first baby shower. Baby shower in the gym because one of our members were having our first CrossFit baby. We all feel
Wow.
like that's our baby. And one of the things we did was we had a little competition. You had to change the baby, and instead of burping the baby, you had to do burpees.
Oh,
Ah.
that's
So that was
cool.
kind of fun. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So when you said burp, I'm like, we just did that. Like, we burped a baby.
Yeah,
We did burpees.
that's cool. Handstand push-ups. Do you do those?
No.
No. No. Does anybody? Isn't that?
There's nobody that we talk about that.
Yeah.
So, for example, today, originally the workout had handstand push-ups, but again, we've got women, for the most part, over 40 and 50,
Yeah.
and that's just too much of a risk for me to put on someone in your C-spine. That's not how it hurts. That's potentially a surgery and the life-altering things. So today we did for the ones that people who felt comfortable, safe, and had the requisite strength, pike push-ups, which is kind of like just inverting yourself into a V.
Mhm.
It's just like a down dog.
Yep. Yep.
And then we put an ab mat under the head, and I mean,
Mhm.
no, not one of those people would tell you felt like they got less out of the workout
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
for doing that. So we did box jump overs.
Yeah.
Oh god,
There's like 3 or 4 different size boxes that CrossFit.
and we will stack
Associated with
plates.
it.
Some
Yeah,
people
okay.
aren't at the lowest box height, and that's
Yeah.
okay. 20
Yeah.
inches, 20.
I always doing box jumpers. I always felt like I'm gonna catch a toe.
Your shin's gonna get destroyed.
I'm just gonna face plant into the corner of the box on the other side.
It's
or
usually the
something.
shin, and it happens.
Gonna lose
It has
teeth.
happened. It has happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not good. So yeah, so that was one of the things that that we did box jump overs, dumbbell snatches, and then pike push-ups,
Wow.
and different options. So if pike push-ups too challenging, that's okay.
Yeah,
Do
just
hand
the
release
regular
push-ups from the knees. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hand release is a nice
Keep
little
moving.
variation. That's it.
Yeah.
And it was 5 of them, so it wasn't excessive. 5 pike push-ups is, like I said, nobody was complaining about it. So it's that. I enjoy overhead squats quite a bit. We got to be very careful
What's
with
an
barbell overhead squats.
Oh, so you hold the barbell over your head.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you're pressing up the whole
Picked
time while
up
you're
on
squatting
that.
down.
Huh?
Overhead.
Yeah, it was
pretty
took
good,
me a
huh?
minute because I was thinking like you put it on your back, and I'm like, no, it's got to go over it.
Right.
Like,
So that's another really tough one, but it's an Olympic lift.
yeah.
Highly effective at the neuroendocrine response in your body. You want that hormonal response going to build muscle? That's the move that's going to give it to you. Or a power clean, or a 1 2 3 rep deadlift.
Yeah.
You don't need the fake stuff when your body can make it with those powerful Olympic moves.
Mm. Yeah, and back to like that, you just said build muscle, and it just made me think of like if you like, I think it's 25, you start losing muscle.
I think it's 40.
Yeah. No, it's
No.
very disturbingly young. I
Yeah.
don't know how quickly you
I
lose
just
it.
read an article about this the other day. I could have sworn it was 40.
40 is when it becomes way harder to build muscle.
Mm.
But
So at 40 and 50,
it's
skyrockets.
yeah.
And then
that's-
70, whatever you have, I mean, you could still gain, but it's going to be so much harder and it's going
Right.
to take so much longer.
Hmm.
We lose it at an alarming rate. And then also we lose bone density too, especially if we're predisposed to.
I mean, if you don't, at any age, if you stop working out, it's insane how fast it goes away.
I know it.
Yeah.
And strength training is that key. We need muscle. Muscle
Just-
supports everything.
I'm trying to think. We had a week off from working out
Were you itchy?
recently. No,
Like,
I
we're
don't
like,
have
I
that
gotta-
yet.
No.
Oh, you're still enjoying it, huh?
You need to get him back.
I don't do the itch thing, but like you have a week off and you're like, it feels like we just started again.
Yeah.
Well, there's that, right?
It's just-
Sometimes that. So when I say an off day, like that doesn't mean you don't move.
So
Right.
you do
Yeah.
need a day of rest. How rested should you be?
You should always be walking. We
Should
got to
always-
get those 10,000 steps plus.
Okay.
Yeah. And you hear a lot of women, especially, complain about like their menno belly. They've just got,
That's what I have.
a tire. All right, Kyle, then let's walk. Right?
Perfect time to say that.
Let's walk. Let's talk about walking and eating more protein and drinking tons of
Definitely need
water.
more
Yeah.
protein.
But it's gut health. So your
Yeah.
hormones are made in your gut, and then it just can be all sorts of different things. But getting those steps in, rest days. Is there a day you need a total rest day? Yes, but you should really still be trying to do some gentle stretching, some foam rolling, some walking, yoga,
Yeah.
something light.
I think there's so many different programs that work for different people because there's a ton. Like even the one I do, there's no rest days.
Well, plus is like how much sleep are you getting?
Right.
That's
You have to
huge.
listen to your body.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Guy
you gotta-
needs 8 hours, and if you're building muscle, it's got to be good sleep because that's when it's
That's when your repair is.
Oh, that must be my
Preparing.
problem.
yeah. If you're
Right.
if you're not getting a full 8 hours, you probably
That's hard. I don't get a full 8 hours
So
often.
then that makes it like harder to build the muscles, and then you hit 40, and it's way worse.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
increasingly
sleep is
worse
so
every
important.
week.
That's where our body regenerates rest. And it's like not just sleep is, are you getting deep sleep? Are you getting that REM sleep? Are you getting that really repairing, restorative sleep?
And it's harder for women. It's like 9 to 10 hours for women because of their
Oh
hormone
God.
cycle.
That's terrible.
Is an article
in
that
trouble.
I read. Is an article that I
Yeah.
read. So
I
it's
think,
like,
7 is a bare minimum. I'm definitely a 10, 12 hour person. I'll never get that again.
I-
Those
12
days are gone.
hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been
Never-
so
you
long.
can sleep for 12
No,
hours.
I
I'm-
can't, but I need that.
I've done it on heavy narcotics.
Yeah, no, I can't do that. I just know that I need that. I've never done it.
See,
since
I
I was
will
17.
start to, right now, actually probably all year, my body functions really well with their circadian rhythm. So right now,
Yeah.
like 4:50, the sun's coming up, I'm wide awake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot to be said for that.
On the flip side, at 4:30 in the winter, I'm ready for bed.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
true.
like you're always ready for bed.
Oh, it's very fair.
And one of our coaches is an attorney, and she just did like this presentation about the seasons and how you feel most productive when it's more sunny, when it's sunnier, or and she felt less productive when it was getting dark early. And so it does just go to show you that your circadian rhythm is really important
Oh,
to
super.
be in tune to, and it can affect a lot of different things.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
But in terms of
and walking around barefoot. So many people
Walking
don't
around
touch.
barefoot.
Yeah, you're not grounded. So many that
Ah. helps
your body reset. Its circadian rhythm is touching the ground. Like so many people don't realize that.
I love that. I
Like,
love that.
we're
I didn't
in-
know that. I do that, but I didn't know that.
You're in sneakers. We're on concrete. We're indoors
Yeah.
all the time. Like having the
Our
sun
feet are
hit,
getting squished all day.
having sun hit your eyes and the ground hit your feet is
Yeah.
like a big thing because you do have like electricity in you, and that's like
We need vitamin
like-
D,
yeah, that too.
the sun.
So
Yeah. So rest days too at the gym, people think if they go to the gym, they've got to hit it hard, and I've got this, and that's not the case. I've got a level, sort of a graph of intensity that I put up on my whiteboard that I keep there because it shows people, okay, so here's your lowest level of intensity, right? Like you didn't sleep, maybe you've got a hugely stressful event, maybe you're going through something in your life, just really in not optimal condition, and then there's a graph that goes up, and then you've got your best. We live in that graph somewhere. It should never be up here, and we hope it's never down there.
This is like basically you see that graph. I've had a rough night. I shouldn't work out as hard, or
It's just a factor. You got to
that-
go by how you feel, but you can't redline it every day. If you come into the gym and think every day you're going to give it 100%, you're going to get gassed out and you're going to get hurt.
I will say there are times when I've walked away from a gym or a workout and felt like I didn't give it my all, and that messes with my mind for the rest of the day.
But
And
your
That's
sometimes
all,
common.
but your all
sometimes I'll
may
do
not be
extra.
100%. Your all that day may be 70%.
Yeah.
But I'll be more apt to work out again before I go to bed.
Yeah. That's very common.
Could be counterproductive.
That's the only time I would say
Right.
I don't really get itchy, but I get the itch like, oh, I didn't do enough. And now I'm going to
Gotcha.
be sore that, because I typically will work out one section. So now my buys and triceps and chest are now going to be sore for the next couple of days, but I didn't give it my all. So I didn't break them down as much as I needed to or feel that I needed to, that kind of thing. So now it's got to recover and I can't do it again. So I'm like, all right, have another workout before they get sore.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So that's
Which
a
is
little different
probably
with bodybuilding type of workouts, right? Where you're
Okay.
working parts at a time, right? But if you, so are you saying you felt like 100% and you just didn't give it your all? Or I
Yeah,
guess
or like I designed a workout that didn't push me enough, like that.
I would
You
say
know what
get
I
a
mean? Like
coach.
it's got.
I think it's himself.
I'm kidding, not kidding.
Yeah.
I tell people I can't speak to that, but I do tell people who come through my door, especially when they're starting, I'd rather you leave feeling like you could have done more rather than you did too much
Right.
because it's much easier.
Yeah, and I definitely get that, especially when
Yeah,
you're
it's
starting.
different, right.
Because you're like, you don't know your limits.
Yes.
And you're like, okay. And that was
Yeah.
tough for me when
Yeah.
I did go to a CrossFit for a little while, and I was like, okay.
That's the intensity
like I did.
piece
But
that
like
you have to learn.
when I'm in a P90X cycle, because I do that a lot,
Mm-hmm.
that to me is like, when is this over? Like,
How
like
long
that,
does
that'll
it?
push me
Yeah.
pretty much and it,
Yeah.
I don't want to say it redlines me every day, but if I'm just starting it and I haven't worked out in a while, it is kind of a red line every
Yeah.
day.
So, and that's where you just kind of got to be careful when we've overstressed our bodies. That's when we're not, we're more apt to hurt ourselves. And I think people have a really great idea of when that's happening. Um, and then it's a matter of, are you going to listen to your ego?
Yeah. There's a lot
Does
of,
that make sense?
yeah, I call it like the truth aspect. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Like, are we going to really accept that this
we
is
were gonna do
happening, or are we going
50
to pretend it
push-ups,
isn't?
and now I'm like dead tired at 18. Like, it's like, and that's because you didn't sleep well, you didn't eat right yesterday, you didn't, you know what I mean? Like,
So
you
come
didn't-
back to
you
fight
didn't
another day.
do the right
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Leading up to it or
Yeah.
whatever, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it's now I know the truth.
Well, and those lessons are very common. I've had those lessons too. So we have to learn those lessons.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but in my gym, I will talk to you about it and be like, hey, if you do this, this is what might happen. So proceed with caution.
Right.
You're an adult, but
Yeah.
this could happen. And I get that people think, well, no, it won't happen to me.
But the other thing is when you do go to like start out, or you just, you're getting into a new type of workout, and it's like you're not meeting the expectation. Like, okay, the diet has something to do with it. You know what I mean? Or your sleep cycle has something to do with it.
Yeah.
So like you kind of like, and when we've had the jujitsu trainer in here, Ron Kiltica, Team Squared, and he's like, "There's a lot of truth on the mat." He's like, "When
Yeah.
you start rolling with
Oh, I
somebody,
bet there is.
you start rolling with somebody, you really understand how out of shape or how you really never could protect yourself, and you thought you could."
That's right.
You know,
He's absolutely right.
it's
And the
like,
same thing in the
same thing
gym.
with workouts
Yeah.
and gyms. Like, oh, it's
And
it's
it will
worse than you
show.
thought.
Right. So instead of pretending that that's not the case,
Yeah.
right? We can talk about how, we'll talk about it, or nutrition coaching. That's
Yeah.
it's just it's the foundation of the house.
Yeah.
And if you're built on pebbles and sand,
Sugar.
it's going to happen. Everything
sugar and
above's going to
cereal.
suffer. Sugar and cereal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually
The
doesn't end
sugary
well.
cereal you added sugar to. When you-
The sugar cereal, you put the sugar on. Yeah. Yeah. But once people get on a program and they do it for, honest to God, 2 solid weeks, and I know
Right.
that doesn't sound like a lot, but the
Yeah.
difference people feel in 2 weeks
Yeah.
is unbelievable. And that's just the momentum that they need. So
Yeah.
it's hard getting through those first few, days that I get that. It's very hard.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. The first week is definitely
you're fighting some demons in your head.
and then
Yeah.
then that second week is kind of like, all right, yeah, maybe. And then,
Yeah. And then you
but
start
also,
thinking, oh.
if you plan to do it daily, like you said, you're gonna do something daily,
Mhm.
and you get that like 10 or 14 days in a row that you did something every day, whether it was redlining one day and
Yeah.
rest and stretching the other day, and getting your 10,000 steps. So you have those like consecutive couple of weeks there. It's like,
Yeah, it makes a
"Oh,
difference."
This is way okay.
Yeah.
do
And you
this,"
build on
know?
it.
Right.
Build on it. Even
Yeah.
coming in the gym, doing a workout. Just don't do it at 110%. Go at 60.
Mm.
But that's hard too when you get a room
Yeah,
full of people do
yeah.
it. And I get that. And I
Yeah.
get that. And I get that. And I really try to lead by example. Although a lot of times I just work out by myself in off hours because I'm coaching. But
Right.
I try to lead by example with that too, because it's hard for me too. Like I go,
Yeah.
man, this looks so good. I know I can do these overhead presses like nothing and jump on the rower and but but then it's like, okay, let's, what are we really trying to do here?
Right. Right.
It's longevity.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing is if you can get into a routine, whether it be not the same thing every day, but you get into some sorts of routine that you're acquiring that for the rest of your life. That's like a huge thing. Because a lot of people will do stuff, even if they go like 2 months, and then the program ends or time to find something else or whatever, and they don't go back.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I
Or
sure do.
You have
It's
to
just gotta become
definitely
part of your life.
people lose 30 pounds and they gain it back. I've done that.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah,
it's
that's
like-
common too. So it's your habit. It's habits.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So building habits isn't easy, but if it's worth doing, chances are it's probably not easy.
Yeah.
And but we're a great supportive environment for that kind of thing too. We get a lot of people who are bettering themselves, working really hard, trying, making connections in the process, and they support each other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
I know. Pretty awesome.
Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank
Really,
you. This is
really
great.
appreciate you coming out.
You guys are great. This is
and
awesome.
how frank you are on the business side of it.
Was I supposed to say something else?
no.
Well, no, just
Honesty.
a lot of people have this expectation that, I'm going to start a business. I won't have to work 40 hours and I'm going to make $1 million.
You're right. I don't have to work 40. I work 80,
Yeah,
90.
exactly. It's like, it's like you don't have a day off. Like
Yeah.
that.
Even if
like
I wanted
some people
to.
don't expect that, or
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
or just a lot of people will see these business owners as, oh, you always have money to do something, and it's like no, not always.
Yeah, no.
I've been in a
No.
coffee shop when the coffee shop was newly opened, and there's people like, oh, you're doing really well. You're opening up your second shop, and they're like, I'm like, you realize there's 3 people here at 7 a.m. and this is like $10 worth of coffee.
Yeah.
And that's it.
With all that equipment.
There's no one coming
stress.
in. It's
Yeah.
like it's not like an
Yeah.
instant thing. It never is. And
No.
it's like, and
No.
I really appreciate people when they're very honest about it, and that, like, because there's just a thing about business owners. Some people just think we're all rich. It's
Yeah,
just
I
the way
mean,
it
well,
works.
I don't even. Yeah, no, and I think I don't know that I ever felt that because my husband's owned a business and I know he's not rich either, right? So we all just do our best,
Right.
And
And
why are we in it?
It's more because you're
Yeah.
following your passion.
Yeah, it's all about following my passion, and I love I love what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well said.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
you are at 146 Main Street, Danielson, Connecticut, 06239. Your CrossFit Underdog Union.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. All
Awesome.
the underdogs. Come on down. Let's unite.
Yeah, I love it.
You can go on the website, check the schedule, check pricing. I have everything's transparent. There's nothing I'm trying to hide. It's all on there.
And people can call you at?
Oh yeah. 860-800-4183.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thanks for watching, everybody. The Community Workbench podcast family is in the middle of their Be the One campaign. It was started by the American Legion in efforts to stop veteran suicide. If you know a veteran, call them. Be the one to check in on them. For more details, visit betheone.org. Join us again next Monday night at 6 when we interview Paul Archer from Archer Surveying LLC right here in Brooklyn. As always, buy local, hire local, dine local, volunteer local, donate local, work out locally. Have great days.